See, recently I came across an article written by a chartered accountant, and that chartered accountant said that corruption is massive in India. Well, corruption is there all over the world. It is in smaller, we are not able to perceive the corruption in nations where the population is very little. But with a population like ours, 140 crores worth of people, there will be corruption. See, corruption is there in the world. It has been there for ages, millenniums, and even during the times of Chanakya, and even during the time of Mahabharata. How do I say corruption in the age of Mahabharata? See, let us go to the dice game. What is the dice game was the cause of the war, Mahabharata war itself. Why? Because the dice game made the Pandavas lose their kingdom, and after 13 years, when they expected the kingdom to be given back to them, the Kauravas refused the deal, and they said, no, you are not permitted to have the land back or the kingdom back. So the war started. Now, why do I start with the dice game? See, there is an interesting story. When Uddhava, I think it's Uddhava, who asks Krishna, Krishna, you could have stopped the war, or you could have even stopped the dice playing by Yudhishthira. Why did you permit it? And Krishna gives an evasive answer saying that Yudhishthira never took my permission to play the dice. Now, why do I say corruption? Here, if you look at it, Sakuni was a very knowledgeable person with regard to the dice. And Yudhishthira was a king. The bet for the dice game was given by Duryodhana, and Duryodhana and Yudhishthira would have played the game. But what happened? Duryodhana gave the game to Sakuni to play against Yudhishthira. And that was a corruption in a way. That means to say that Yudhishthira was foolishly made to play the game with Sakuni, when Duryodhana as the king should have played with Yudhishthira the king. Now, why do I say it is corruption? What is corruption? Where I am not able to get the work done, I use somebody else to do the work, or I ask them to do the work for some compensation. Now here, Sakuni, I use Sakuni as a tool to achieve my objective, that is Duryodhana. So in a form, it is a form of corruption. So corruption has been there even from the time of Mahabharata. I'm sure, we have to learn to protect ourselves from corruption. Now, if you look at it, why was let us take an example. Why was the faceless assessment commenced by the Modi government? What is the faceless assessment? The faceless assessment is where I file the return of income, and the return of income is processed. And if I have any queries, the queries are posted online, and then I meet online with an officer and I close. I deal with him, I submit documentation, everything is online, I file the documentation, and then finally the assessment is completed. Now, what is the faceless assessment here? I given you a summary. Now, it means I do not know the officer with whom I am dealing with. I do not know the officer who had dealt with my return of income. I do not know the officer who has asked me to appear before and explain. It could have been the same officer. It can be different officers. It can be a person from Guwahati dealing with a person from Bombay, or a Chennai officer dealing with a person from Gujarat. So it has been so made it so transparent that nobody can blame the income tax department for saying that they are asking us money to complete an assessment, putting the blame on the department, when who is at fault? When somebody who has filed a return of income has been at fault, to cover up his position, he uses the tool of the income tax officer and say that he is corrupt. Now, is he corrupt? No. In any position, if you take it, the person who requires the services from another person is the corrupt person. Because I want to short circuit that. Because I short circuit it, it becomes what you call, in Tamil they say, Rusi Kanda Punai. That when the cat tastes the milk or the tiger tastes the blood, then it smells it, it can feed upon it. In the same way, anywhere we go, anywhere in the world, anywhere in India, if we tempt a person to get the work done quickly or before another person, then we call it corruption. We are willing to pay the money, or we are willing to give the services. We are doing whatever we want to get our way done. Now, who's responsible for the corruption? So we must understand that the corruption does not exist in the world. The corruption is not given by God. Corruption is not a societal infirmity. The society creates the infirmity. When the society creates the infirmity and is willing to live with it, and when it reaches a point beyond which one is not able to control the infirmity, then everybody gets harassed, they get hassled, they get worried, they are not able to meet the demands of the people, and hence the complaint starts. Everybody is corrupt, everybody is corrupt. Therefore, please, we have to look inwards within. I have spoken about this earlier also, but again and again today, because of one customs duty, Windstorm or something that one company has said, in view of the corruption of the customs department, we are closing our operations in India. Well, nobody knows the true facade of the case. We know only that Windstorm came to the media and through the social media and through the regular media said, the customs department is corrupt because they did this, we did that. We have been in operation for so many years, and therefore we are closing down our operation. I mean, for one action or one way, somewhere during the dealing over so many years, are you closing down your operations? What is so? Something, it doesn't gel with me, something very fishy about it. Is it corruption or some other angle which we are missing? Because now it has died down. No media person is discussing this concept of corruption in Windstorm and the customs duty. Why? It's very surprising. If it had been a case of something, a very powerful case on which discussions will take place, I am sure all the media houses would have put up panels discussing this corruption of Windstorm and the corruption of the customs duty and putting the blame on the central government and finally reaching the Prime Minister. Why has it died down? I have no idea about it. I am not interested in discussing it. I am not interested in progressively looking at whether the customs department was right, whether the company which closed the company was right. I do not know it because I do not know any of the facts of the case. I am only stating that it is very funny that we are putting the blame on something else when we do not know what the full facts of the case are. I am sure that if the media looks so into it and ascertains we should get the full facts of the case of windstorm, so that we find out where the fault line lies, whether in the department or with the company. Let us take it forward.